Let me ask you a question to start this video off. Do you feel like you're in a place where you're starting to learn what lights you up? You're starting to follow your inner guidance. You're starting to follow those good feelings, and it's bringing you results. It's starting to slowly but surely give you the life that you want, the life that you've possibly always wanted. But are you getting to this place where you're now starting to feel torn between this internal voice, this intuition, this guidance that's telling you to do things, it's telling you to follow your bliss, and your responsibilities, or your perceived responsibilities that you feel you have to people, to places, to certain activities in your life? And you're kind of in this, this really difficult position where your heart is telling you to do one thing, but your head is telling you to do something else. Well, this is what I want to talk about and get you thinking about in today's video, because I want to talk about consciously creating distance from some of those places and people, environments and activities in order to enhance and progress your journey towards learning how to consciously create the reality you desire. Hi, I'm Josephine Snowling, and if you haven't come to my channel before, then let me just give you a brief overview. So my channel is dedicated to supporting women, to supporting mothers, empowering them so that they can have the life that they want. They can create the reality they want. They can be it all, do it all, and have it all. But they can do all of this without having to sacrifice their parenting values. This has become such a big thing for me in my own life. When I became a mother, I realized that I wanted to do things differently. I wanted to step up and be a conscious parent. I wanted to be present and available, and I wanted to be a full-time mother for my children. But I also realized that I didn't want to sacrifice having a business, having a thriving career, having a passionate, wild romantic relationship, love life, to having a deep spiritual practice and all the other things I wanted in my life. And I very soon fell into the trap of believing that I could have one or the other. And this is what my channel is all about. It is to empower you to realize that you can have both. You can have both of these worlds. They can merge together. It just takes creativity. It takes thinking outside of the box, and it takes belief. And I want to create a community of mothers who are going to change this way of being a woman for the next generation, for allowing them to realize that they can have it all. We don't have to sacrifice anything. We just have to learn more about the power that we have within us to consciously create our own reality. And then the world is kind of our oyster. So if you're new here and this resonates with you, then stick around, subscribe. I release new videos every Sunday, all around this topic of being it all, doing it all, having it all, and still being an available, full-time, conscious mother. Okay, so let's jump straight into the video. So, conscious distance. Now, I believe there's a big difference between consciously choosing to put distance between yourself and other people and places and environments versus running away. And I want to just take you through the 3 stages of learning to be a conscious creator that I believe that we move through. And there's nothing wrong with any of these stages. I think it's a natural progression that we go through in life in general. But it kind of makes more sense when I go through this to understand why I'm saying put distance potentially between people you love, because that's quite a big statement to make, and can be quite a scary thing to do. So let me just walk you through the 3 stages that I believe we go through. So to begin with, the first stage, we're very unconscious. We are acting from, so our reality is being created for us effectively. Well, tell a lie, we are creating it, but we are unconsciously creating it. Life is happening to us. So we are people pleasing. We are very much we are very much acting out of habits and beliefs that we had growing up as children and that we formed in those early years. Some of those are going to be really good, but others, they're kind of habits and they're beliefs that we've picked up unconsciously. So they're not necessarily things that are going to be helping us and aiding our journey. And so in this stage, there could be a tendency to want to run away from certain situations, from leaving a relationship, from leaving a job, moving away, but in a very unconscious way, in a way that we are trying to escape something, believing that if we change our external environment, that it's going to change how we are, but not really understanding that because we are not approaching that consciously, all we're doing is we're just running away to a new situation that we then have to run away from again. It's like with a relationship. You may have been in this situation yourself, or you may know people who have done this, where they'll leave one partner, they'll find another person, and the same issues just keep coming up, person after person. And the reason for that is because you have taken yourself with you. You have not changed your inner mindset. You have not changed your vibration around that topic. And so it might be a new person or a new environment or a new situation, but you are basically taking yourself energetically with you. So this is the first stage. You know, we're very unconscious. Life is happening to us and we are reacting to life. The second stage is where we start to feel, or I know I had this in my life, you start to feel this inner calling that you just can't ignore. It's ringing so loud. It's like trying to wake you the hell up to say, look, you are more than this. You can have more than this. You can be and do more than this. Because it's trying to tell you the power that you have as a creator to create your own reality, to decide what it is that you want in life, how you want to feel in life, and to move towards those things. So you start to research, you start to read things, you start to practice some of these things in your own life, and you start to see these small results. You start to get this small belief growing in you that maybe my focus and maybe my emotions do create my reality. They do affect the outer world. And maybe it's the inner work that's actually the most powerful thing that I can do. And so what I'm imagining is a lot of you that are watching this video right now are probably in this second stage. So you're starting to realize the power that you do have when you focus on the things that you want instead of the things that you don't want. When you actively get yourself into alignment, you follow your good feelings and you stay in those higher vibrations, you start to receive more of the things that you want in your life. And so this is kind of like the second stage. We're very much in this learning phase. It's a lot of trial and error, and our belief is like it's growing more and more. So every time we get a little bit more evidence of, hang on a minute, I put that desire out there. I let it go. I got myself into this like higher vibration. I stayed into alignment and it just happened. It manifested. So every time that starts to happen, the belief is growing stronger and stronger. And so I think that this is quite a long phase. You could say we are technically always sort of in this phase of learning, but I believe what happens once we've started to realize our power and our potential, we then move on to the third stage, which is mastery. Now, I kind of liken this to when I think about, I always joke with my husband when I say this, that sometimes it would be so easy to just go and sit on a mountaintop, to go and, live in some remote village and work on my vibration and get myself into alignment. I could reach those higher vibrations. I could get to this like enlightened like stage. I think it would be easy if I didn't have my kids around me and all the other people in my life and, all these like triggers and potential aggravations and all this sort of stuff. And I think about some of the, like Buddhist monks, for example, who spend, a lot of their lives in these temples, and their whole time is dedicated to meditation and worship and to reaching those higher states. But I always wonder what they would be like if they were put into reality, because it's a completely different ballgame. And for me, the definition of mastery of this is when you can stand amongst the chaos of just life in general, and you can stay in alignment, you can stay in that high vibration, you can continue to create the reality that you desire without being affected and swayed by the outer environment. For me, that is mastery. And so where does this kind of all fit into this idea of distancing yourself and feeling that pressure and that responsibility versus your kind of inner calling and what your heart is sort of telling you should be doing? So what I believe is that when we enter this kind of second stage, we're not at mastery yet. We need to learn how to get to mastery. And so a bit like the Buddhist monks, we almost need to kind of create that sort of environment for ourselves, like a monk would experience in a temple. Now, I'm not saying we need to go and, all become Buddhist monks or nuns or, whatever you fancy in that sense. But what I'm saying is that we need to kind of create ourselves an environment that supports us to move into the phase of mastery. Now, remember, we're in the second stage. So we're not running away. We're not unconscious at this point. We're very conscious of what we are doing and how we are behaving. And so this has been coming up a lot for me this week, and this is why I wanted to share this with you, because we've just done a small holiday back home. For those of you that don't know, we've relocated to the other side of the country. We don't have any friends or any family here. We have completely set up from scratch, and it's been an interesting journey. And so we went back home to our hometown last week, and it was really interesting to experience how much I was struggling to stay in a place of alignment, how I was really struggling to maintain my vibration and to follow my bliss. Because now I know this is all beliefs in my head, but you have to follow me on this, because you have to work from some point. So for example, when I went back home, I felt there was a lot of pressure for me to appease, like my parents and some of like my old friends. And now I know that is my choice. It is not on them. It is me working through my own internal beliefs that I have around how I have to interact with those individuals. But when we're in this second stage, what I believe that it's really important to do is, the more we can learn to stay in alignment, the more we can learn to raise our vibration and know what it feels like to move through those emotions, to know what it feels like to be in a place of sadness or frustration or hopelessness, and know how to move ourselves back into those high vibrations, back into joy, back into gratitude. I think in order to do that, we need to put ourselves in an environment that supports us to do it. If we're in an environment where we're constantly being triggered all of the time, it is very difficult to learn how to kind of move up and down that scale. And this is what I've been finding by returning home for a week, is that some of the people who are closest to me in one way, I suppose, but maybe not closest in another way, I'm actually needing to create some distance from, because I'm struggling to maintain myself. I'm struggling to create the reality that I want, because I'm being dragged down by possibly their lower vibration, by pessimism, by, I don't know, just this lack of want of life. I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but I think when you get to this stage, when you get to this second stage where you really realize that you can have it all, you just have to become practice at learning how to create it. Anything that kind of does not support that, you start to get like, I don't know, really like cold feet around, you know. It's like you just don't want to be a part of it, and you don't want it to affect the progress that you've made. And so this is what's got me thinking about consciously creating distance from people and places and environments and activities. And I wanted to put this video out there today to get you thinking about whether there's anything like that in your life. Like, what is not bringing you joy? Like, what doesn't light you up? Because I don't believe we have one life, but I feel like we should at least live every life that we are given to the fullest. And so it's so difficult because you can feel that pull. You can feel that like people pleaser in you is like saying, but this person's not going to be happy. Like, this person's going to be upset if I distance myself. Or, you know, or maybe it's about moving into another environment. For us, moving to Wales and moving away from my hometown has been a massive shift for me. Like, going on my own, not on my own, but going into a completely new environment and having to like set up from scratch has been so inspiring, and it's pushed the boundaries, but in a really healthy, great way. And it makes you believe that you're capable. It shows you like what you're capable of doing. So if you're getting any of these kind of like feelings coming up where you feel like you should be seeing that person less, you feel like you should be doing that activity less, or you feel like you should be doing more of, you know, this, or you should be in this environment more, then I want to kind of encourage you and inspire you to just follow that and see what happens. Now, for example, if it's people, so it might be like people in your family, or it could be friends or colleagues, or, you know, something like that. Just try it out for a little while. It doesn't mean, okay, I'm never seeing you ever again because you lower my vibration. We don't want that, because that's not mastery. But we also want to recognize where we are in this second stage. And I think in this second stage, it's about helping ourselves to get to that place where we are then masters. So we can come back into these environments. We can go into any environment. We can be with any kind of person. And we remain in this aligned, high vibing place, because we know that none of this external stuff is going to affect our internal world. But we've got to get to that point. And I think the problem is we believe that, like, because we know that's kind of what we're aiming for and where we're trying to get, it's like we try and jump straight there. But it's like the vibrational scale. If you are vibrating in, you know, the realms of like depression and like severe grief, trying to go from there like straight up to joy and bliss is just not possible. It's too big a jump. And I think the same goes for moving in these different stages. And so this is why I think if you can create some distance between people and places and environments and activities that are not supporting the creation of the life that you want, then I think at this stage it's not running away. You've consciously thought about this, and you're consciously moving away temporarily so that you can come back and you can almost enjoy these people, you can enjoy these places, and you can enjoy these activities when you're in a place to be able to enjoy them, if that kind of makes sense. So I kind of want to leave you with this, really, that just think about your own life and all the things that light you up, all the things that you really enjoy. So it could be like with your parenting. Do you socialise with a group of mothers who really don't follow your values? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not to say that we're moving away from these people because we're better than these people or anything like that. But if you're struggling to find enjoyment around those people, then maybe it's time to start questioning, well, should I even be involving myself with these people? Should I be using my precious time and my energy with people who don't light me up, who don't inspire me and excite me? And start to just lean into that and try it out for yourself. Even if you do it for like a couple of weeks or even a month, just see what happens. Because also as well, I think it's very interesting with people, sometimes when you have that time away from them and you can, you know, you change, they change. And so when you do kind of meet back up again, you're approaching each other from a very different place. And you may even enjoy them more so because you've had time away to change your perspective. You've had time away to potentially heal your sort of vibration around that person. You've maybe even had time to go through like a process of forgiveness with that person. So just think about where in your life can you consciously create distance in order to aid your journey of learning to consciously create your own reality. And then knowing that you're doing this to aid yourself in becoming a master at it, so that when you do then come back and see those people and you do then revisit those places or those activities, none of those things will affect where you are, but we all have to learn how to get there. So I'm going to leave that with you today. And as always, I'm really interested to know your thoughts around this. Are you struggling with this? Are you struggling with, you know, you feel obliged to have to go and see these people, to go and do these things, but your heart and your intuition, that inner guidance is telling you otherwise. It's telling you to do something different and you're struggling to know which way to go. And I know it can be difficult. I struggle with this still. This is still very much my own inner practice. But I am learning that the more I kind of push through that and follow what my inner guidance is saying, it makes me happier. It makes me become the creator of my life. And it's sad sometimes to have to leave other people behind. But if you want to have the life that you want, then I think it's a vital step in this journey. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that, and let me know in the comments if this is you and if you have made some distance, and what has it done? Has it changed your relationship with people? Has it changed with your family and your friends? Has a new environment changed your perspectives on things? Let me know. Let's get this conversation going and inspire others along their journey. And as I said at the start of the video, if this is something that is speaking to you and you want to join this community that I'm trying to create, where we as mothers can have the life that we want, we can be full-time mothers, we can be active with our children, we can be present and we can be conscious and supportive of them and their dreams, but we can also support our own dreams and our own desires, and we can role model this for our children. Because there is one thing telling them you should go for your dreams and you should follow your heart and you should, you know, don't play it small, but there's a completely different thing of role modeling that. And that is what we need to start doing if we want to create if we want the next generation to be empowered beings. We've got to start being empowered ourselves. Okay, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I do videos every Sunday. If you want more inspiration and more empowerment and you want more of these kinds of conversations, and please come and join in these conversations, then make sure that you follow me over on Instagram and Facebook, because I've got lots more stuff going on in those two platforms as well. That's at Josephine Snowling, and all of the information is in the description box below. Have a beautiful day, whatever it is you are doing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.